Hey guys, EST here, and it's time for another fantastic video, and I don't use that term lightly. I think all my videos are fantastic, some more than others, but this is gonna do well. I think, a lot of people just mathematically are not wealthy, whether you live in America or otherwise, and even if you have a ton of money, why spend more than you have to? So this is just how to shop as a prepper and just kind of generally acquire things you might need, with a little bit more thought put into it, and some little tricks I know to shave off, dollars here and there, because very few people can wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to drop 20 grand on prepper stuff because, I'm going to finally prioritize my family, myself, safety and defense and health and stuff. And I mean, if that is you, cool. And I will say that if you make like $500,000 a year in the US, you've probably got enough extra money that your time is more valuable than the funds. So if you want to pay someone else to set something up, then build it yourself, like for a solar thing. Or you don't want to spend 2 days packing food because, you just order it from a company that packs food. Yeah, you're probably right. But for the other 99% of us, let's save some money. So number one, I gotta address the one that you probably already know. Honey, the browser extension. I'm not even, they're not sponsoring me, I just use it. I know people on YouTube won't shut up about it, so I'm not gonna go into detail, but it just tries a bunch of coupon codes that other people have used and enters them for you. It can't be easier, but they got a lot of blind spots and they've got a lot of favorite vendors. So if you're on a smaller site or you're on a site that just isn't supported by them, retailmenot.com. That website has got to be 15 years old at this point. They are the OG database of every coupon code ever. They kind of changed lately, and I think they've changed owners, so it's a little more markety and slick than I'm comfortable with, but still, I go there once in a while, and I do find codes that are a little more obscure. They even now have reported success rates and stuff, so it's not too bad. It's worth if you're gonna buy a Berkey water filter at so-and-so BerkeyFilter.com or whatever. Yeah, I mean that's $300, so might as well take 2 extra minutes to poke around on the internet for some sales codes. Now, speaking of that, you might notice that if you go to any smaller websites, so not eBay, Amazon, you literally go to well, let's keep the example going. BerkeyFilters.com or BerkeyWaterFilter.com or USABerkeyFilters.com. I think all 3 of which are not actually Berkey's website. Actually, I think one of those is the real website and then the other 2 are just authorized resellers, but whatever. Not endorsing them, literally just looking at my browser history. You'll never guess what I'm about to buy. So there's all these fancy, they call it AI or machine learning. No. That's a bit of a stretch, but all these e-commerce website platform things where it's a third-party solution, they just dump it into their own website. They have a system built in involving, emailing customers and, sign up for our email list. And usually it's just kind of vaguely we'll tell you about some sales. But what you want to do is no matter where you are, if it's even above a $50 item, I would say, find what you want. Shop around, make sure it's not cheaper on eBay or Amazon, because it probably is. Personally, I don't use Amazon because I hate them, so that's cool too. Maybe check, Facebook Marketplace too. They're kind of blowing up. And if you're no, I'm probably going to buy from these people, but I don't, need it tomorrow. Sign up for the email list or create an account on the website, add the product to your cart, and then just close the browser and leave the website. Within 48 hours, their super high-tech AI learning system that literally just counts to 48 and sends you an email. Wow, so advanced, guys. It'll be hey, there's something in your cart. Maybe if we give you 5-10% off, you'll complete the sale. It's supposed to be what do they call that? The, FOMO marketing technique, fear of missing out, where they're hey, we'll give you this, but the code's only good for 72 hours. And you're oh man, if I wait any longer, I'm gonna have to pay retail. This is now lower. Okay, I'm gonna pull the trigger. And that's what it is. So they have this little leeway for customers that are on the fence will be willing to make a little bit smaller margin to just push them into a purchase because we're still gonna make money. So across the board, they almost all virtually do that. In fact, now eBay is rolling out something like that, the send offer system. And people are getting wise to it and already manipulating it. And eBay, whose management and design people move at the speed of dinosaurs, haven't realized that it's highly manipulative. In fact, most of the eBay sellers have, if they're like me and they're ultra high volume. But yeah, you can watch list, aka favorite an item, and then just leave. And now it'll show up on a daily report that says, hey, there's some interested people. Do you want to send them a custom offer for X% off? And if you're man, that item's been sale for 3 months, I've only sold 3 out of 10, yeah, just send them the offer. Give them all 10% off and give them a week to purchase it. Cool. So that's another one where I think if you add it to your cart, okay, cool, but then don't accidentally buy something else on eBay and buy both. I've done that. Just add it to your wish list or watch list and then watch your email, because you will get some kind of notification if the person is willing to just be okay, seriously, somebody just buy this. I've personally sent people 30% offers on stuff where I'm this has been in stock for 11 months. I am seriously, if you don't buy this, going to send it back to Goodwill. After shipping, I'm making $3. Please just take this item off my hands. I don't actually write that, but I just realized you can attach a message to the, a custom message to the discount offer. I should write that sometime. So yeah, private websites and eBay, they're all highly exploitable. If you have a VPN, which you should because government and business spying. Once again, I bet you're expecting a sponsored read here. No, you just should get some sort of good VPN. Nobody's sponsoring this channel. I use PIA, Private Internet Access. I don't like who just acquired them, and they've got some upload issues. Also, all their servers are blocked from almost everything, and they use non-shifting semi-static IPs. So use them if you want a solid 5 out of 10 experience. Anyway, you guys may have heard like the whole plane ticket thing where like if you're logging in from New York City or Chicago or a really rich part of California, you are going to get a higher ticket price if you go to hotels.com or like some kind of flight thing. Tells you how often I have the money to travel, which is never. So if you purposely shift your VPN location before even going to the website, and then also preferably hit, let's see, it's Control-Shift-N or Control-Shift-P, depending upon what browser you're using. That will open a window where all of the tracking cookies and all the known stuff and even some browser fingerprinting stuff and some plugin tracking are all completely blocked. So you're kind of like, oh, I'm new to the internet and you don't know anything about me. Mix that with a VPN and then go shopping for, plane tickets. Yeah, you're probably going to get a better price, but the key is like, oh, I'm not from rich place, California. I'm from, the Midwest. I'm from the middle of Nebraska or like South Dakota. Yeah, you can shave like $1,500 off a flight or hotel, but now see, that has absolutely nothing to do with prepping. Kind of. But what you may not know is that Amazon does a similar thing. Now, Amazon, you have to use an Amazon account, and there's only one shipping address unless you're at like an apartment. You think you can confuse them. But did you know that there's also smaller private websites that will give you a better deal based on if they think you live in a poorer area than a richer area? It's called like IP address geo tagging something. I don't remember. But yeah, like basically if Amazon sees you coming, they look at what you've spent in the past and they look at where you live. They will and can, in some places legally, in some places it's illegal, I heard, give you a higher price just because you're you. So a lot of kind of, they know what they're doing. They've been around for a while. Very high effort, high like commercialized kind of big business optimized. Like there's a company behind it instead of just a person really. Like those websites can add some systems that they paid pretty good money to license these systems, just saying, that will attempt to detect with like Facebook and Google tracking information and all kinds of other stuff that has nothing to do with their site, but welcome to the world of tracking cookies. They will try to determine if you are rich or not based on your like search history and your like other interested websites you landed on. It's terrible. Now you use a VPN in an in-private window as it's called. Well, there you go. Now they don't know anything about you. So that's a good tactic all around. But especially if you have a fairly high budget or you tend to, search for or buy expensive things. So while, like I said, this is, I think, illegal in some parts of America or Europe, or they cracked down on this in the past, I think it still goes on a little bit. If you, searched Google for like luxury car dealerships and then posted a picture of yourself in a fancy suit on Facebook, and then all of a sudden you go to buy printer ink at some, discountprinterink.com or whatever, and without you even knowing it, they paid for, a little bit of database access to, Google or Facebook's information about you. And basically your demographic profile is you're rich, then all of a sudden the price is 20% higher and you never know it. So I'm not sure how much of that goes on anymore because I heard it was a big legal battle a couple years ago. But I know that location-based pricing is pretty widespread still. So bare minimum fake your location, or at least try to confuse it by opening an in-private window with just like what they call a throwaway session. No past logins, no past tracking, no past anything. Basically, unless they go as far as trying to browser fingerprint you, which they probably don't, they don't know who the heck you are, and that's good because you don't want them to know who the heck you are. And that goes triple if you're wealthy. So let's move on to something a little bit more low-tech and local, like shopping at local stores in person. Now, there is obviously still a digital aspect to that, so let's touch on that. Number one, coupons, obviously. You can get them like quite a bit from manufacturers' own websites. And in fact, at almost every chain grocery store that I've ever been to, I've seen some kind of limitation that says like no more than 2 internet/printed manufacturer coupons per visit per checkout. First of all, use the self-checkout. Honestly, even though it's store policy, like, are they really going to catch you? And 2, that's their penalty for making me bag all my own crap. If their computer system is smart enough to detect a third manufacturer coupon and reject it, great, good for them. If you're really trying to save money, I mean, you're probably just going there for a buyout of something very tactical and specific anyway. In other words, you're probably only buying 2 things. But yeah, I mean, always check, like, if you're going to go to, buy a bunch of Oscar Mayer stuff for, like, to refill your chest freezer with, like, delicious kielbasa and sandwich meat or whatever, maybe go to OscarMayer.com first. Maybe real quick, just Google Oscar Mayer Twitter. You don't even need an account, and just see what they tweeted out. See what they pinned. See if they got like here, click here to print a manufacturer coupon for $1 off anything we make, or here's a new product and as part of marketing, we're gonna give you it for like half off. Now, a lot of the new product launch stuff, it's limited to one. So you do want to watch that, because usually, like, if you're going to save money on something, like when they put, chicken drumsticks on sale for like 30% off at my grocery store, I'm going to buy 10 pounds of them, I'm going to separate them, and I'm going to put them in the freezer. Because the more you buy, the more you save, and I'm going to eat that much anyway, which means I would have had to buy them. So if I just get 4 drumsticks at a time, and every time I eat them, I go buy them for no matter what price they are, that's stupid. So as much as you might be thinking, you don't need to tell me how coupons work. I know how they work. They've been around for like 50 years. Gosh, probably longer, probably 100. Well, people just don't do print magazines and newspaper anymore. So it's like, that's not the biggest thing. Now, I know they do direct mail to your house, but even that's not, very good. Even like Valpaks and stuff, I heard they have a 97% open rate, so that's cool. But I happen to also know what it costs to get an ad in a local area. It's like $1,000 on up. It's terrible. The costs are unreal. Which means the only people who can afford it are people who are selling you a $10,000 roof for brand new windows, or, all this expensive multi-$1,000 stuff. If you just want to save $3 on some meat, you aren't going to find it in a Valpak. So what I'm thinking is make a list of stuff that you want to buy, you want to acquire, maybe a spreadsheet, just a list in Notepad, a list on your phone, whatever, handwrite it, who cares? And then right before you go shopping for all that stuff, just like I said, go to every manufacturer's website and see if, Yoplait has, whatever. I don't think GoPlay sells anything a prepper would be interested in. It all expires, but just throwing random names out there, replace it with, whatever actually makes sense. So just to test one, because I know multiple stores in my area sell Sawyer water filters, including Walmart, but a couple others. I thought, well, okay, this is a long shot, but let's go to Sawyer.com. Which is actually the official website. Sat on the homepage for 60 seconds, did not get absolutely assaulted by sign up for our thing, save money, oh my gosh. So I appreciate that, but unfortunately I actually wanted that to happen. So I clicked on where to buy, and I got a list of, different places, which that in itself is actually nice. I mean, they've got one kind of discount hardware store, one kind of ritzy hardware store, and then Walmart. Well, I know it's going to be cheapest at Walmart, but I might as well go to, their online website and real quick type in Sawyer water filter and verify that. Verify, because maybe like one is kind of a puller item. I've had stuff where I'm like, the really expensive high-end shop has it for dirt cheap because it's kind of like a promotional thing or a new product or clearance. They're getting rid of that whole segment. I don't know. It's just, so look around, obviously find the best supplier. And the best way to find it is like, just go to some, whatever so-and-so bicycles. Like, oh, I want to get a Mongoose bike. So go to the website and then go look up like list of vendors or where to buy or, whatever. And then just be like, oh, I have those 3 out of the 12 listed in my area. Cool. I'm going to look up all of them. And almost every respectable store right now has full-blown like, here's our store inventory and it's online, here's prices. And you just got to put in your zip code and there you go. That was really not true even 10 years ago, so I'm glad we're going that direction. But yeah, I mean, shop before you shop, and then while you're on the manufacturer's website, they might give you some kind of weird promo code or manufacturer's coupon that you can print. So after kind of poking around on Sawyer's website, I didn't immediately find anything too obvious. And it kind of makes sense because they're already considered pretty much like the one to get on a budget. I mentioned Berkey earlier. I mean, that's $300 for a, stand-up gravity-fed system, but it does 6,000 gallons and top-of-the-line filters. It does stuff Sawyer doesn't. It filters viruses. I mean, come on. But Sawyer knows they don't have to, like, say, oh, you got to buy from us instead of our 5 competitors. I can't even name one of their competitors. I don't consider LifeStraw to be one of their competitors, by the way. Maybe I should, but okay, well, there's 2. Now, if you're talking about sandwich meats, we're going back to Oscar Mayer. Oh, my gosh, they want to pull you away from Hillshire Farms as quickly as possible. They will do anything to just get their products in your mouth once, so you're like, oh, that is better, and then you buy from them from now on. So they will desperately just throw you discounts, coupons, whatever, because competition is super harsh. Now looking at Sawyer, it's like, well, who else are you going to buy from? So of course they're not aggressively crazy marketing, assaulting your eyes with, give us your email, we'll give you a whole bunch of free crap. But, well, that doesn't mean I'm not going to take 15 more seconds, go to Google, type in site, and then paste in their website, which is, of course, https://www.sawyer.com, which means only search this one site, and then type in after that the search term coupon. Believe it or not, in this actual case I'm doing right now as I recorded that did work. Turns out they sell more products than this, and one was vendor specific, but still 20% off. So now I've covered, manufacturer promotions, when you're probably going to get them, when you're probably not. A different way to kind of force technology to find them for you between, browser plugins or just Google searches. Skimming their whole website for keywords, which apparently occasionally works. And then cart abandonment exploits, if I were to put it very bluntly. I've learned that in the marketing and e-commerce world that cart abandonment is like the number one issue because you feel you're so close, those are the people you should target. And that's why the whole, hey, if they left something in their cart within 24 to 48 hours, send them an email and say, hey, you left this in your cart. Want to buy it? And then maybe even like, oh, you want to buy it for 5% lower? Because they were so close to checking out. A lot of them just, they wanted a shipping quote and then they were just like, whatever, I'm gone. But you just made yourself a highly targetable customer where they want to push you over the edge of making the purchase, and that usually involves giving you a better deal. It's kind of the whole, shopping for a car, oh, I'll think about it. Let us go get lunch and I'll come back kind of thing. When you're on the way out the door, they'll be like, hey, my manager just told me I can drop in another $1,000 if you want to wait to go to Wendy's. Bulk buying. I did mention this in another video. I think it was the how to prep for $0 because it can actually work out that way. So, of course, I'm going to reiterate it in this video. Find a place that sells stuff in bulk. A lot of them require you to prove that you should get a distributorship account, and there's all these minimums or $100 a month fee, or let's just say if you're not actually a grocery store, you're probably not gonna get 1,000 packs of gum from a distributor. They kind of do put in the effort to prove it so that random people can't just do this. But I will say, just going into your Costco or your Sam's Club or whatever, like a bulk kind of place and buying in bulk. Okay, save 20-30%. Okay, that ain't news. Maybe you'll be able to get your 8-pack of ranch bottles and split them apart, but to me, generally, that's just not good enough. There's a lot of independent businesses that are basically just called bulk foods or the bulk food shop or, whatever. Just type in bulk foods into Google Maps and find the businesses called that in your area, and then just kind of check out their website and see what they do and how they operate, and if you need a membership, and if it's business only or if it's walk-in. I know what's the one I always reference? Gordon's Food Service. They are amazing. But then again, if you try and sign up for Cisco, you better prove you're an actual restaurant before you get 10,000 straws, They just generally have a policy because they don't want people undercutting the middlemen. But some places just don't care, and you'll find all kinds of bulk places online too, so you never know. I mean, local is easier because if you're buying in bulk, shipping becomes a big thing, especially if it's above 100 pounds or we're talking freight, and then you gotta pay a freight fee, and then you gotta pay I don't have a dock fee. Yeah, no, it's not good. So look up, bulk sellers in your area, especially ones you haven't heard of. Don't just go to Sam's Club and Costco and all that. Find the more obscure ones that work on the down low, and they don't really have to advertise as much or be as noteworthy because, they sell to 100 restaurants, and that's fine. So when you want, 100 frozen burger patties, they're like, oh, that's fine, that's normal. We don't really care if it's personal or business or whatever. And since it's a business selling to another business, the margins are really thin and the prices are insanely low because the end person who is selling the food or the equipment or whatever, they have to make money on it. So you're not going to do better than that, but when it comes to bulk, I'm not just saying, oh, you buy in bulk. I'm saying get together 10 of your friends. And I guess the best example I can give that everybody's familiar with, hopefully, is ammunition. Yes, I know, terribly realistic and relevant in 2021 and 2020, but remember in 2017 when all your friends were like, hey, I'm thinking about getting, 5,000 rounds. You guys want, to get in on 500? I don't really want 5,000, but I like the price, so, it'll be half the price. And everybody's like, yeah, sure, get me in on that. And they make a list, and then you order it. When it shows up, you start distributing it, and half the people drop out, and you save money, but you ended up with double, so... That explains a bulk buy when you split it. So you get on social media, you get people you know and trust, and you order it all, and then you split it up. That's basically how it works. And a lot of people will do this in electronics, where they're like, hey, I want 100 Raspberry Pi controllers, or I want 10,000 lithium cells or something. They'll get on the lithium DIY, enthusiast Facebook groups and subreddits and be like, hey, I'm doing a bulk buy straight from China. Because the manufacturer will do these cells for 80 cents a piece when they're $4 retail in America, but their minimum is 10,000. So they're like, yeah, I'll front the money. I'm not even gonna ask for a down payment because, online, I don't know you guys. You could all be scammers, who knows? But there were Facebook groups that are invite only and stuff. And they usually do bulk buys for Pokemon cards, Magic the Gathering, that kind of stuff. Where hey, I got a factory account, I got a distributorship, I can get 50 boxes for really cheap. You guys want in on this? They get enough people to okay it, maybe even put $5 down just in case they back out, and then you're covered a little bit, and you do it. So, I mean, imagine you could call up the toilet paper company right now or some distributor, which that's a terrible example. You will never find one, but, gotta pick a popular item. And you're like, oh, yeah, give me the entire truck full. Give me 4 pallets of toilet paper. And then you get on Facebook, you're like, hey, guys, I'm doing a bulk buy of toilet paper. It's going to cost X. You're going to save about 50% over retail. Anybody want in? You'll get 50 people that are like, hey, unofficially just call me when it comes in. You're like, well, that's enough people. I only have enough for 10 people, so if 50 are interested, let's go. Or you can go full-blown Girl Scout cookies and be like, no, you're paying me up front. It's like, hey, I trust you. We've been friends for 10 years, and you're this other person. We're actually family. So, since it's you, I'm going to need the money up front. And then once it comes in, you pack your garage full of it, and you're like, hey, everybody come pick it up. Hand me cash, thanks, PayPal, Venmo, whatever. I don't care if you send me Dogecoins, get that crypto going, like buy this toilet paper. And then you keep the 10% that you wanted, the 25%, whatever, how much you wanted. And if you charge people 5% over and get 20 people, all equal shares, well, then your remaining inventory is free, isn't it? I think the math is a little bit off on that because of relative percentages, but you get the idea. If you buy $1,000 worth of something and then charge people 100 for 10 shares out of 11, what's left over cost you 0 because they just paid you 100 times 10, and you paid 1,000 for the whole lot. So like I said, your leftover amount effectively cost you 0. Now, you can't get too nuts with that stuff. You start adding 20% or something, and they might as well just buy it retail. In some cases, some stuff is like 70% off if you buy it in bulk, like I said, lithium cells. But I mean, you could even be like, oh, I'm going to this, this state-sponsored auction. The IRS is putting it on, or it's a sheriff's auction. The counties think it's seized assets, police auction. And you're like, holy cow, a huge lot of 500 hand tools that are all various hand tools that are useful in farming. Cool. Actually, one I've seen was TSA, the airport people, security, confiscated knife lots. I got 4 resale people who run like thrift stores and resale stores in the area to get in on this. I bought like how much was that? Like a $200 knife lot of like 1,000 knives. And then I just kind of blind split them up into, here's the boxes they came in, good luck. And we all made money because they can sit there and sell them $4 at a time and make like an 800% margin or like whatever it turns out to be. So we were all happy with that. It's just, I didn't want 1,000 knives. I wanted like 20 knives. But at the end of the day, I think I actually made a profit on it because it was a bulk buy. It was an opportunistic thing. It was all from a source that's just like liquidate it, whatever. Nobody's heard of it. It was on some obscure website. Just kidding. It was eBay. But I'm thinking of other local auction sites that do like some government seized property and stuff. Yeah, not the biggest name, not even the best website. Thank God they're recoding it. But yeah, these obscure little auction sites and stuff and big lots that come up and liquidation stuff and business inventory and like even Target, they're kind of bankrupting some stores and closing them and getting rid of their stuff. I mean, about 5 years ago when another chain closed, I got my hands on 1,000 ink cartridges from them. And, took a year to sell them, but oh my gosh, the margin on that. So, okay, ink cartridges in prepping, that's useless. And what do you mean you just sold them all? Now you're just talking about your eBay business, but I'm just using it as an example of like, this was another thing, another avenue of like, here comes this thing. Today it was print cartridges, tomorrow it'll be Sawyer water filters because some camping store went out. Maybe it's all fire starting stuff and you're like, man, I got to get on a prepper group, one for, just the state of Wisconsin where I live in and see who wants to get in on this bulk buy. And you just start, tossing prices out there. Know that, 25% of people are going to flake as soon as it comes out. And if you ask for a down payment, they're not going to trust you. That's why it's better to keep it with friends and family. But these bulk buys are really, really, really good. That's why I wanted to focus on and just tell you, like, how to even find these in the first place. Instead of just saying, don't go to Sam's Club, it's not good enough. I mean, I wanted to give you all these real world examples. Because this is the number one way to save money on stuff is buy in bulk. And I'm not just talking, oh, I could use 4, so I'll buy 4 at once. Yay, good for me. Pat myself on the back. I'm talking get 100 and then sell 90 to your friends. And there you go. Sign up for a credit card that has a crazy good promo. Like I think some of the Chase and Wells Fargo ones, as much as I despise those banks, not to mention Bank of America, just on principle, I wouldn't even touch that. Well, they all got these crazy credit cards where like, hey, you make like one purchase in the first 5 seconds. We'll give you like $250. Open it, buy some stuff with it once, never touch it again. Oh, and step 1 before all of that is make sure it doesn't have an annual fee. Now, some of them are getting clever to this because they know that if you use a credit card once, get the promo, and then never touch it, you're just a liability. You're just going to sit there and cost them money per year because you're not using it at all or paying interest in any way. So some of them say, hey, make $1,000 in purchases in the first 6 months, and then we'll give you like a cashback bonus, but it could only be redeemed with points and only at one of our vendors. It's like, okay, so watch out for that. Do read it first, but that is a really clever way to do it. I know somebody who was like around the early 2000s, the absolute queen of this, and she would do like balance transfer promos and like all this, $200, $100, She'd even go with the store cards, but that's another good one. The whole hardware store, sign up for our store card. And I think even Sam's Club does this, get like 2, 3, 4% off or 1% off for life or 2% unlimited, which is, still nothing pretty much. And people are like, every time I spend $100, I save $2. It's $2 in just gas to drive over. That's literally nothing. So they got this big flashy promo to get you to use it and to shop there more because you're like, well, I don't have a card for the other hardware store. So they're like, hey, make 2 purchases of at least $50 in the first 6 months, and we'll give you like $500 or something just insane. So watch for that. Just use it once and jump off it. Don't be tempted. Hell, rip the card up. Who cares? They know that for every person like you doing that, there's going to be, 500 other people that don't do that, get hooked in, shop there more, and they'll just eat the cost. Like, you just cost them money. Oh, well, most people don't. So take advantage of very, very lucrative promos, but don't fall for the bait. Don't fall for, oh, well, now I'm going to shop there from now on because, I got to get those points, got to get that 1% cash back. Every $700 I spend, I get a $5 credit. Wow. You'd actually make more money by, instead of just this whole gamification thing, just shopping around for at the retailer that just has the better price on whatever you're buying. But I think I didn't mention this before, but if you have a credit card, you use it a couple times, and then you just leave it with a 0 balance and have it just sit there, that will actually improve your credit score with, I think, at least 2 out of the 3 credit reporting bureaus. It's the age of the account, how good of a standing it is, whether you've ever had an issue like a mispayment or whatever, and the revolving credit usage, which is obviously 0. So even if you have a credit card you actually use and actually carry a balance on, which you shouldn't, this will make it look better on your credit report because now you're using like a lower percentage of the total available for 10 different cards you own. So when you see some of those promos, just be like, yeah, you know what? I am going to take, I've been saving up for 3 paychecks and I'm just going to go buy what I need now, but because it's such a high dollar amount, I am going to sign up for a credit card and buy all of it on this one credit card and then, pay it off instantly within a week and then never touch it again, get the promo, and then I'll look a bunch of more free stuff. That's pretty much the process. And honestly, stack it. Like, then also use a manufacturer's coupon when you get there. If you're going to do it, you might as well really do it. The funny thing is, I don't know if you guys have CVS and Walgreens to a lesser extent, but they're the kings of just completely psychotic deals that backfire on them spectacularly. I just happen to know because 1, I got some insider sources, 2, I looked it up on the internet in some cases, and 3, I just noticed the pattern myself personally. If you sign up for like a CVS rewards account and then you haven't been to the store for 2 weeks, they will send you an email with an insane deal. It's like the, hey, we want you back thing, but they don't actually say it openly. And they're like, what it usually is right now in 2021 is we'll give you 30% off one item. Any one item, and then it's like a max value of $100. Well, okay, so don't buy anything above, what would that be, $3,000? What the heck do they sell that they had to put that on the coupon? But anyway, now they do, I don't like this one because it's kind of a scam, but it doesn't apply to any items that are already on sale, and half their damn store is on sale with the whole, buy 2, you'll get 50 cents off. They consider that a sale. Clearance price, that's a sale. But yeah, nothing stopped me. I think one time they gave me 50% off one item or something. I was like, okay, I'm just going to walk in, buy a carbon monoxide detector, flip it on eBay, sealed, done. But places like that, like I think Walgreens, they occasionally sell like really high-end water filters, although just get a Berkey. To reiterate, not sponsored. Berkey is just the best. It's well known in the prepper community. But even if you just, give your email to like some random hardware store that you never go to, like Lowe's or Home Depot, because you go to any other better one than that, literally anyone but them. They'll just be like, okay, this customer hasn't been here in a while. Take anyone who hasn't made a purchase in the last 2 months and send them this email. And it's like all calculated. It's all marketing. It's all, psychological manipulation. But if you're kind of ahead of it, you're aware of it, and you know what they're doing, and you know how to game the system, you're going to save some money. So sign up for all them. Just stop in, sign up, go to their website, give them your thing, put in your address, and then, don't shop there. There you go. Eventually they'll be like, we got to bring this customer back in. We got to get them to buy something. Because why would they send you a bunch of lucrative deals if you go spend $100 there every week? You're already a customer. They don't need to get you more in the door than you already are. But let's say you had your eyes on a really high-end, like 20,000 BTU, $600 window air conditioner because your current one is a piece of crap. But you're like, I really don't want to drop $600. That's a buttload of money, but I have to do it eventually. But it's kind of flexible. Like mine hasn't broken yet. It's just I want to replace it. It's loud. It's dirty. I got to clean it all the time. This thing's got to go, but it's not like it broke today. Not much of a prepper item, but just, replace air conditioner with water filter and there you go. Fire starting equipment, a grill, a rocket stove, like whatever, a tent. If you're somehow at this point under the impression that this video has nothing to do with prepping equipment, just take whatever I'm talking about as an example and replace it with prepper equipment. I was hoping that would be obvious, but I can already I can hear the comments coming from the future. Their sheer stupidity is traveling back in time to tell me to notify you of that in the video. Can you tell I've been on YouTube for 9 years? You start to bend the laws of physics and develop superpowers at this point. But yeah, you want to go sign up for whatever dumb rewards program thing they got at the store, either in person or preferably online, and then just wait. The big one is wait for the nearest holiday, and by holiday, I almost want to put that in air quotes, because we all know that Flag Day, the number one thing behind Flag Day is getting a deal on mattresses, and you will get an email about mattresses and electronics, because that's what George Washington really stood for, or President's Day too, that's another one. I'm surprised they don't just start picking random Jewish holidays off the Jewish calendar, because there's 50 of those a year. It's oh, hey, happy whatever this says, 5% off anything in the store. It's if you know that there's an upcoming holiday, definitely watch for that and definitely, get on their mailing list before that. And the big box stores like to be the most manipulative, the ones who have 700 locations in the entire US, they're going to get real crafty with it. It's the smaller ones who have one person in charge of marketing. They're I don't know, we should probably do something for the holidays. 5% off, 10% off. Instead of Black Friday is the perfect example. Where Walmart and Best Buy, they're okay, we're going to advertise this crazy, 82-inch TV for $500, but it's some garbage, no-name Chinese import brand with, instead of an LG screen inside of it, it's Samsung technology. It's some Qimei or Tsinghua screen. You're going to get 7 dead pixels right out of the box. There's no warranty. You can't return it because it's a special. The frame's probably bent, and when you hear the audio, you'll wish you were dead instead of those 7 pixels. Oh, and there's only 3 per store, and they're selling it at cost, but it gets, 1,000 people in the door, and they're well, I'm already here. I don't want to waste a trip, so I might as well buy something else. Okay, that's the scam. Okay, they're so into crafting this whole narrative and this whole ridiculous marketing scam. And then you go to some place that has 30 locations in your state and that's it. And they're just I don't know, 10% off. There, Christmas, let's go. Oh, look, it's Labor Day. I don't know, 20% off one item, whatever. They don't have the technology, the AI, the entire room full of 12 marketing experts trying to rip you off and scam you every way possible. So the mid ones are better, even down to oh, this local mom and pop place. But usually their prices are just kind of crap anyway. I hate to say it, but whatever. But the mid-sized chains, those are the ones you want to target. But for the big ones, like I said, just wait for a holiday, sign up for the rewards account, get on the email list, and just wait. Because a lot of these algorithms and databases and queries and that kind of stuff are really marketing reports. They'll put you into a tier as a customer and say, hey, this person signed up for our thing and then didn't buy anything for 3 weeks. Boom, red flag. You hit the trigger, email automatically goes out. They're get this guy in the door, 20% off. Any one item, just do it. Or hey, they bought one thing and then we haven't seen them for a month. Okay, exactly 30 days later, boom, you hit the trigger, email goes out, they generate a coupon code for you, you print off the coupon, and there you go. So try to imitate an idle customer. I guess that's the best way I would say it. Watch for a holiday, and before you want something, as long as it's not urgent, like an air conditioner, just get on the whole marketing funnel and then just sit there and wait. Usually they'll give you a day one promo in addition to thanks for signing up. Here's your reward. See, you did the right thing. Don't, get one spam message from us and be oh, why did I sign up for this and unsub? They want your first exposure to it to be positive and for you to be wanting to open their emails. Because the first one, you had a huge positive connotation and positive association because you had a positive experience because you're whoa, that's an aggressive coupon. Now, you're never going to see a deal like that ever again, but usually it's the kind of thing where they're oh, new customer, here, boom, hit them with this one first. Then after that, drag them along unless they hit the idle limit or they hit like the customer retention, report, and they think that it would be beneficial to their bottom line if they sent you an email with like this little kind of lesser code, but still something where you're like, that's worth getting off the couch, getting in my car and driving there and buying something. But otherwise, the daily stuff where it's like, 1% cash back, yeah, no, don't even fall for that nonsense. They're trying to play you, play them. And I guess the one thing I would say on top of all this is see what does stack and what doesn't, because some people will say, well, you can't use a manufacturer's coupon and our promo, or you can't mix these two together. And other people are like, no, absolutely. I mean, you could use a coupon and this, or, oh, we're supposed to say that doesn't work, but if you use the self-checkout, it absolutely does. And the $5 we just lost, well, we just gained $15 an hour by not paying our employee. It's a robot. There you go. No cashier, no problem, whatever. It all equalizes. I hate to keep going back to this, but it's another good example. If you're going to buy something absolutely brand new instead of used because like it's important, you need it to work, like it's like medical equipment or like a water filter, like something where it like a big furnace or a wood burning thing where if it jams or breaks or splits in half or something, well, now you're screwed because you got a medium to high amount of money into it and you're like, I'm not going to get it used because I can't trust it. And we've all heard the saying, 2 is 1 and 1 is none because it'll break when you least want it to or whatever. So like have 2 knives because you snapped your blade on your knife. Well, now you got no knife. Cool. Yeah. Buy 2 knives, whatever. But like if this is like an $800 water filter or something, you ain't going to buy 2. That's just stupid. But also you'd be out of your mind to get a secondhand used water filter, like almost for any price. If it's like instead of 800, it's 100. You're like, that's a good deal. But I can't count on it, so it's not a good deal. I have to buy this brand new retail or I just don't feel like I can trust it. I get that, and you're probably right. But guess what? For Berkey water filters, to go back to them again, on their own website, they have a scratch and dent. Oops, somebody backed a forklift into it. Oops, somebody dropped it. Oops, it got damaged in the, container shipment from China. 10-20% off. There you go. Or customer returns, refurbs, that kind of stuff. A lot of them just kind of get tossed in the secondary market. I know Amazon and Walmart are the worst at this, and Best Buy. Oh, and Costco. God, are those guys wasteful idiots. But other than them, companies who have their heads screwed on straight and know how math works will just kind of sell them to you, like on the down lower on their website or on a separate section, Hell, some of them, even like miters, if you have a miters by you, they'll they'll have a return. They'll just be like, oh, no, it's fine. But then they'll just kind of duct tape the package back together and put it on clearance for 30% off at the back of the store. Yeah, check that out. I mean, hell, just clearance racks in general. If you're about to buy something retail, just cruise through the clearance racks and see if they have a damaged one, a return one, or something similar, an old model of version 1 when version 2 isn't that much better. Something like that. Just check it for a couple minutes, You never know. I mean, I was about to drop like $200 on a HEPA filter because my allergies are terrible. And it was like a pretty good, respectable top-of-the-line one with good reviews because, I need it to work. And I can't just say, oh, I'll get this cheap Chinese one. It was Honeywell trash because, like Sunbeam. Oh, don't even get me started. I'm sure it'll be just as good. The fans in those filters aren't even hydrodynamic bearing. They're like ball bearing. If you get 1,000 hours out of that thing, it'll be a miracle. So you're just going to end up buying another one. So, like, that's the kind of thing where, like, I want to buy retail. I'm not going to get a used air filter because I'll probably just have to buy a new filter for day one. And I want one that actually works. So it's like, what am I going to do? I'm just going to go drop, $200 and some on it. And then I thought, okay, wait a minute. Let me check out a couple like authorized dealers. So I just Googled, this brand name authorized dealer. I found some and I'm like, okay, they're a little higher than stores. I don't know how they're still in business. But I did find it on one fairly big website. And they had refurbs or open boxes. And refurb, like, you gotta wonder. I've had bad luck with that one vendor with refurbs, but luckily I'm really handy at fixing stuff. But open box, I mean, that's just an open box. Like, a lot of them will put in the effort to say, hey, make sure it's not damaged. They didn't split it in half. They didn't keep half the accessories. And if they did, you can usually get a refund, or they'll just be like, we'll just give you a refund and keep it, because they're not going to have it returned twice. That is not effective because they got to pay the return shipping usually as like a customer guarantee thing. So usually you're safe with open box stuff no matter what. Like I said, refurb stuff, it can be really, really subtle. Like I bought a refurb laptop and it turned out the wireless didn't work about 25% of the time. It was absolutely an electrical fault in the wireless card. And okay, so I drop $18 swapping out the internal wireless card, and luckily I'm really good at taking apart laptops. That ain't everybody's cup of tea, and if your internet doesn't work, you're gonna be pissed. And I found out about it about a week and a half after I got it. But a lot of open box stuff, I mean, especially with like shoes or something, it's like, oh, it didn't work. So electronics, that's a different story, but you get like an open box like knife, Yeah, the processing facility takes it out and they're like, yeah, it's still in one piece and the blade's attached as sharp. I guess they just didn't like it. All right, 20% off, open box. It's the same product. It's basically brand new. So I ended up getting I believe it was an open box of that air filter for $140. It's $100 off if I'm not mistaken, because I think it was $240. But wait, this vendor was so stupid that they didn't block me from using certain coupon codes, especially holiday-related ones, especially Labor Day, on already discounted merchandise. So I got like another 15% off. I could have flipped this thing on eBay for a profit, but I did keep it. I actually did eventually sell it to someone else actually on Facebook Marketplace, because it turns out you can get a Lasco one way cheaper. It's just a box fan with a freaking furnace filter strapped to it for like $45, but I mean, for a $12 filter that lasts like 3 months, yeah, I went with that. It had higher airflow and a higher square foot rating for like what? 5 times less money? Yeah. Also, once again, not a sponsored video. I'm just shouting out stuff that deserves shouting out. But through that whole personal anecdote and the whole process, hopefully you're learning and taking notes there through all this. Because this ain't, story time with EST. This is, hey, here's how I saved a ton of money. You can too. So, I guess to summarize the last story, it's like, oh, don't forget to try to stack discounts, get opportune times, watch for holidays, watch for Black Friday, watch for sales. But then just because you're like, oh, it's already 20% off doesn't mean you should try to get it even lower. A lot of the like AI systems and the cart stuff, they just assume people wouldn't try that hard. They just be like, oh, 10, 20% off. Cool, I'll buy it. If 100 people do that and one person goes, maybe I should apply a coupon code, and it goes to the point where like they lost $3 on the item. Oh, well, they'll just eat it. The amount they made in addition because of the promo from new people buying it at a proper margin was enough to offset whatever you just did. And I mean, I'm just saying, if you combine the last couple things I said, like, oh, I've got a promotional offer with, this credit card, and it's a store credit card, and I also bought this, but also it was an open box, but also I had a coupon, and also it was a 10% off Labor Day sale. You add it all up and you either got the item for free or they're paying you to shop there. And a lot of this stuff, it only works once, but like, then go to a different store, go to a different vendor, go to a different website. Another fantastic example of this shopping method is I have gotten an order from Uber Eats exactly one time. I've gotten from DoorDash one time, and I believe there's 2 more that I've used exactly one time. I just signed up with accounts on all 4 and just waited for the email to roll in, and yep, they're like, hey, you haven't ordered yet. We'll pay for your entire order up to $25, just pay the delivery fee. So I paid like $8 for like $40 worth of Chinese food or something. It was crazy. So yeah, don't be afraid to use one store one time, one vendor one time, one company one time. Because yeah, eventually you run out of companies. But if you really are tactical and you're like, well, I'm not going to buy a $10 screwdriver and ooh, there's my big 30% off. You got to just strike hard on the high stuff. I hate it when people are like, oh, I'm going to call the manager about why this $1 coupon isn't working for my cereal. And then they're like, oh, I'm sick of negotiating for this Toyota Corolla. Like, shopping around or negotiating a little harder or buying at a more opportune time of year, you're going to make like $1,000 difference on a freaking car, which means to offset that, you'd have to argue about cereal coupons 1,000 times. It's like, you got to have the effort match the price tag. Boy, if you take away anything from the video, that's it. The higher the price tag, the more you should put in the little bit of effort and extra, tricks and shopping around to really make sure you tactically hit that one hard. Try everything, stack up everything, burn your one-time promos, whatever you got to do, because like this item's, above 100, above 500, above 1,000, whatever. I mean, even me just shopping for stuff I kind of need for my business. I'm like, oh, I could use, a new laser printer cartridge for my laser printer. I know it's going to run out at some point, but I should have 6 months on it. So I'll go to 3 different ones, that are selling on eBay, the 3 lowest ones. I'll add all 3 of them in my wish list. I'll see if they send me an order or an offer. If they do, cool. I'll probably take it if it's good enough. Otherwise, I'll just wait till eBay does their like 8% eBay bucks cash back deals or whatever, and then I'll buy it. So it's just a knowledge of like how they work. I know how many promos they do per month. I know how they either randomize them or don't. I typically know when they're coming up, and I know what the exempt items are, unfortunately. And I found out all the information in 3 minutes by just reading the dang terms of their like eBay Bucks program. So it's like, just take a little bit of time and effort to do the research and be like, okay, now I know how to game it, do a little math. Well, another thing I should just throw in is just look into bankruptcy liquidation stuff. I think I kind of like touched on it, but eBay owns another auction site. Did you know that? It's called ProxyBid. They spelled it with an I for some reason, so proxy with an I bid.com. They're almost exclusively estate sales and like businesses and especially restaurants that closed. Either the owners died or the bank seized it or they're retiring or whatever. They only allow actual certified auctioneers on that website, which is why you tend to get the really big, like, huge estates and huge, like, oh, this entire Waffle House is shutting down. Here's 50 grand worth of equipment. Just kind of, cruise through those a little bit, or just search, auction companies near me. I mean, they all probably use proxy, but some of them use their own website to save on the, like, 10% fees or whatever. And, like, seriously, 2 of the tents that I own, I got there for 90% off because it's like, well, one was a catering company, and I know that most of the customers who go to this particular auctioneer are looking for secondhand kitchen equipment because they sell, kitchen equipment to restaurants. And it's all like discount used, whatever. So they'll clean it, refurb it, whatever, warehouse it, and then they just have this huge warehouse full of, oh, it's $5,000 for this commercial refrigerator, but we can do it for $3,000 and we guarantee it works. And the restaurants are like, cool, I'll buy that one. And they got it at an auction for like $1,500. So that's what they're interested in. You get something stupid like, oh, here's a couple rolls of Scotch tape. It's going to go for like 10 cents. So I tend to buy the more obscure stuff instead of, just the big guys coming in for the kitchen stuff. But there's a lot of resellers that'll sell anything. You get the thrift people and then you get like the eBay people. I think I already mentioned which type I am. However, you might think, well, prepper items from businesses, yeah, this catering company had like pop-up tents, they had screen tents, they had mosquito netting for some reason, they had water filters, they had water dispensers, like those Igloo 5-gallon things, or like the ones that the NFL uses for Gatorade. They had coolers, they had chest freezers. I once got a mini fridge that I looked up. You can actually set it below freezing. You can set it at like 25 degrees. So it's also like a portable mini cooler. Got it for $15 just because people are like, oh, it's got a dent in it. It's a little dirty. Okay, 5 minutes of cleaning and I don't care about a dent. I've got a discount freezer. Like, this was 2020. Nobody on planet Earth was selling a freezer. People were scalping freezers. In fact, I ended up getting a better freezer this year. I ended up selling the old one for like 5 times what I paid or something like that. I got a set of 4 brand new gas masks one time for $12 from a chemical supply and farming company. I got 2 biohazard chemical suits. Got them for 25 cents. I guess people weren't really into one-off ones. Latex gloves, got a lot of those. I got 500 of those for $5. Retail on that's like 180. Motors, batteries, inverters, just wires to wire stuff up, bulk gloves. I got a lot of 50 pairs of gloves. I sold out 40 of them, kept 10 myself. I ended up actually positive on that one. It did not cost me money. I made money on it. My friend runs a thrift store. I was like, hey, 50 cents a piece for these gloves. Send him pictures. He's like, hell yeah, 50 cents. Let's go. I can get $3 a pair for them. I even got bulk plywood and 2x4s. Okay, it was 2019, but in 2020, I was very tickled to have that. I think like a 2x4 costs more than its actual size in gold. I picked up a propane grill because everybody's like, oh, propane and it's used. I don't know. It's a restaurant. If their grill didn't work or leaked propane, they would all be dead. Of course it works. I got it for $4. I mean, a grill is a survival item, so it's all this stuff where you wouldn't think, oh, the business world equals the prepper world, but it absolutely does. You never know what you're going to find. So absolutely, just whatever you got to look up, whatever businesses you got to contact or get on the mailing list for, the auction alerts, whoever you got to follow on Facebook, whatever, get in on that and just real quick breeze through their inventory. Like, you can check out like a 200 lot auction in about 5 minutes. You just scroll through and you're like, oh yeah, vehicle, trailer, refrigerator. Ooh, what's this? I mean, I got a digital gun safe for like $40 because nobody knew the combination. I just like Googled how to break into it, basically. Went to the auction inspection. I'm friends with the auctioneers, so, because get in with them because they'll give you a little leeway. I successfully bypassed the lock, told them not to tell anybody, and I got it for, I think it was a $300 safe, got it for like $40. I think it was an 18-inch by 18-inch, 240-pound safe. That's kind of a prepper item. I mean, at least put guns in it. But I mean, even just like a lot of farm stuff, a lot of like rural stuff, a lot of estates, you're going to get like wheelbarrows, you're going to get like shovels. And this is like old school stuff because usually like they died, they're moving to a retirement home, something like that. Okay, cool. You guys know estate sales. But like, it ain't some cheap Chinese crap. Like they ain't got like, Harbor Freight stuff. A lot of people are like, oh, that looks rusty. Yeah, but it's 80 years old and that's like a maple handle. So, I've almost all my gardening supplies I paid about $20 for, and people are like, wow, you must have dropped so much money on that. I'm like, no, dude, auctions. So, I mean, just, I could go on the categories, but I know the more you hear, the more you're excited about, like, yes, I'm going to go try that because now you mentioned something that I'm interested in. But we're talking 90 to 95% off because, like I said, the big boys, the businesses, they're not too into stuff like that. The eBay people can't ship a shovel. It's like 40 inches. It'll cost more than it costs. You know what I mean? There's all these little blind spots where clever preppers can sneak in and kind of get something for this crazy deal. So business bankruptcies, auctions, and like liquidation stuff. Check that out. Oh, and by the way, since you guys are like actually a pretty awesome community based on your really cool like comments where like, hey, try this. Hey, what about this mix? Hey, I did this slightly differently. It worked better. One, I mean, just check out the comment section while you're listening to this video. And two, scroll down and leave your tips. I mean, what was your greatest buying thing? What didn't I mention in this video? We're crowdsourcing this because you guys know preppers help preppers. So another big one, and my gosh, on my main channel did I blow people's minds with this one, and I have made quite a bit of money doing it. From the last survey, actually about 50% of you already know that I run a Magic the Gathering channel, which is, it's like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! But bigger. It's a card game. It's been around for 26 years. So just that as an example, because it's a real example, what you can do is you can go to eBay and say shop by category. And then I go TCGs, which is trading card games. And then I think you can even specifically say Magic the Gathering. It's so big and it's like, it's got to be $100 million in volume or something for them. It's insane. And then I just put in anything between $0 and $10. Auction format only. Sort by ending soonest. Those are the three things. So if you go to like camping/cooking or something, and you do the exact same thing, you're just going to get every single item, literally every one, listed as an auction style bid thing, not a buy it now listing, that is ending in like the next hour, basically. So with Magic the Gathering, a lot of people, they'll just kind of pick up lots, you know, thrift sellers will be like, I don't know what these are, I don't know what any of the rarity symbols mean, I'm just going to throw up a picture and whatever. Well, the problem is people might not see it because even though it's in the category, they got the title drastically incorrect. The best one I saw was it just said Magic the Gathering lands. Okay, well, nobody's typing that into the search, and it was 2 Grove of the Burn Willows, which they took a complete tragedy of a photo of that you couldn't make out from the thumbnail. So I clicked on it, and I'm like, okay, that's going for 99 cents and is worth $90. I think I'll bid on that. So as bad as this sounds, I mean, it's just, okay, personal responsibility. I'm all about personal responsibility. Okay, let me just throw that out there. But on eBay, don't be afraid to take general resellers who like don't know what they got or like, I don't want to learn, you know, get a PhD in like computer parts, graphics cards, water filters, Magic the Gathering cards. I'm just going to list it and see what happens. I'm throwing it up for an auction. I'm starting it at a penny, whatever. It'll go for whatever it goes. Hopefully people who know what they're doing, you know what they're doing. But if they got the keywords and the titling and the photo bad enough, man, could you get a deal? Holy cow. And they won't even know that it was a bad deal, a good deal, because they didn't properly research it. Now, I will not list something if I don't know what it is or exactly like kind of the approximate price, because I don't want to sell something that's worth $100 for $10. So if I find some vintage cookware with no UPC code because it's from the 50s, I'm going to use like Google's AI image recognition to find another one in a different auction, find out the brand, find out when it was made, find out the price range, research that directly, put that in my title, and get some proper bidders on it. Instead of just, throw it up for 99 cents, somebody will see it. So to find misspelled, mistaken, mispriced items, just stealth items with really bad photos, like something that's worth $500 and it's used and they said it's untested, whatever. Okay, so there's that. But oops, they were in a rush because gotta list 50 items today. Okay, we've been there, but still, I don't tend to make mistakes. And they spelled the brand name wrong. So now nobody's going to find it. Well, you have to kind of just brute force it. You look at like every item, but I mean, like I said, I can scroll through 100 items in like a minute. Like you can literally look at one item per second. And if you see a Berkey water filter and they spelled Berkey wrong because everybody spells Berkey wrong, well, then nobody found it via search. So you get it for $9.99 plus shipping because you're the only bidder and you're like, oh, okay, well, that's a $300 filter. So, I mean, it works just as well with Magic cards. Like I said, like MTG with periods in it for some reason, which that now people really aren't going to find it. I mean, it is an acronym, but you don't put periods in it. And then like collection with one L because some resellers are idiots. Well, nobody found that. And then I look at the pictures. I'm like, that card's worth $30 and that one's worth 20. Yeah, I'll buy that. I mean, I do that all the time. So I don't know what if there's a word for this. It's been around since eBay's been around. It's probably called like skimming or scavenging or category brute forcing or something. I know I've heard the term at some point, but it was on like some blog site in like 2007. So, ooh, secret eBay hacks you might not know. You know, they had some cutesy nickname for it, but I'll just call it like I said, exploiting people who should have put in more effort and don't know what they're doing. They're my fellow resellers, but that also makes them my competition, and let's just loop back to personal responsibility. If you don't put in the effort and you constantly make mistakes, I don't care if you run an eBay store or a restaurant, you're not good enough at business and you're not trying hard enough. You didn't get enough training and you're not careful enough. You don't have that skill set, and your business deserves to fail because it just does. I mean, welcome to the free market. And then I'm going to come buy all your stuff from your restaurant in a liquidation auction. Another thing, I just should bring this up. People think that this is such an old school thing, but it's really not. It's actually way bigger now because a lot more people have stuff than they have cash. And then plus, you know, inflation. So people it takes more time to be like, oh, I'm going to sell my motorcycle and buy a bicycle or whatever, because that's like two things, and that's like two operations. So they get on Craigslist, which, you know, go check out Craigslist. Yeah, it's not as popular as it used to be. It's not as big as Facebook Marketplace is now, or eBay, but it's still Craigslist. You can either search for the word trades in a category like electronics or camping gear, cooking stuff, or whatever you want, or you can go to the trade or barter area and just kind of skim it and see what's there. If you tend to have items that people are always looking for, especially stuff that there's shortages on, like it could be anything from toilet paper to like lumber, 2x4s, which, like I said, I had a bunch of 2x4s laying around because I got them in an estate sale where the guy died and his wife was like, well, I'm retiring, selling the whole rural property. And the auction company came in, took a picture of a bunch of just a mountain of wood scraps that were in the barn, and we're like, wood lot, and then I guess nobody was really that interested. I was up against a couple people, but as soon as it hit like 11, 12 bucks, they're like, whatever. People are so darn lazy that they're like, I don't want to load all that. I'm like, pack the trailer, let's go. It's not like a year or two later, oh, I've got lumber in the middle of a lumber shortage. Well, there you go. Plus, I just built myself like a cool thing out of pallets and a little bit of 2x4s, obviously, wasn't going to pay retail for those. And it's just like a little firewood, you know, thing with a little roof on it. Those things are like $300 retail. I'm like, yeah, I just built it for like $8. Yeah, I think $6 of those dollars were sand for under it. So, I mean, if I wanted to go into trades and people are like, hey, I need some wood for a project, I'm willing to trade, you know, this, that, or the other thing, that's who I would contact. In fact, some people are just like, oh, interesting trades. Oh, just let me know. I want to trade this for something. Like, I could take cash or I could take trades. Let me know what you want to trade. And you're like, hey, I've got a year worth of food, like dry, you know, rice and dry goods in Mylar bags. I could say, hey, I can give you like a food kit, you know, because everybody's like, food kits, ooh, food kits. That's like the keyword, the buzzword of 2021. Oh, Patriot Supply is out. Oh, but now they're back. And now this one, they're closing for 90 days. Oh my gosh, food. Ooh, food security. Not to make fun of that. Biden is legitimately ruining the country. But if you're like, hey, I could just take like a box full of like 17 bags of rice and noodles and beans and just be like, hey, you know, this is like 100,000 calories, like a 50-day food supply. I'll trade you for your, you know, mountain bike because, you know, mountain bike is kind of a prepper item. You know, watch my other videos. Alternate modes of transportation. Plus, don't forget the bike pump. Who wouldn't be like, yeah, I need, you know, 2 months worth of food security hand delivered for this crappy bike I want to get rid of. Like, that's a no-brainer. But for you, you know that it was like 75 cents a pack to get that. Oh, plus a $3 hair iron thing to seal it, which, you know, go watch my video on that if you want to learn how to do it. I mean, Mylar bag, pour the rice in, oxygen absorber, heat, sealed, done. I mean, there. Now don't go watch my video. Just kidding. It's like a 1-hour documentary on like pathogens, how to seal it, how to check them, water content, like food ratios, calories, proteins, amino acids. Like it is the documentary, the absolute definitive food supply video. And once you build up enough, or, you know, a little bit too much, you can start to barter with other people and be like, hey, you know, can I interest you in this to sweeten up the deal? Or hey, maybe instead of $20 cash, I can give you $100 worth of, you know, dry goods and emergency food. And people are like, ooh, I don't have emergency food. And even if they're like, oh, what do I want with emergency food? What am I, some kind of prepper? And then they get home thinking, they watch the news and they're like, oh, I really should get emergency food. You know, it's that, like, it's kind of FOMO, but it's also like self-defense. I'm in danger. I don't have this. And now that it's in my head, I need it, you know? So honestly, in the last year, I think when people wanted to sell me something, or I was involved in a trade, or like somebody was getting rid of their laptop and I'm like, hey, you know, it's worth about $150, but, you know, I could trade you like, you know, this big old Rubbermaid full of food I got. I'll throw them some Spam, some like cutlery. I'll throw in some of my like, cooking chafers full of, methanol gel that's 6 hours of cook time. Some coffee filters to pre-filter the water, and you got yourself a whole dang kit, Just like, yeah, I packaged them myself, but like, check the seals yourself. They're fine. Send them a photo. They're all shrink wrapped. Like, there you go. That's called like value added. So now you're kind of just like running a business, but it's the type of thing where you can get it done for like $30, and then people see it and they're like, wait a minute, let me price compare this to like Patriot Supply. Oh crap, you're like 80 times cheaper. Okay. Like, oh my God, that's 3 months worth of food. That's worth like, $1,000 when darn well you spent $50 on it. Like, I have traded so much of my food supply, and some of it was like, I kind of feel bad. It was the older Mylar bags that I know don't stand up as well. They tend to last only about like 10 years instead of 30, but like, okay, whatever. And I traded for like a leaf blower, and like, I'm telling you, people don't even trade money in 2020 or 2021 anymore. They just trade food. So it's I'm overproducing for my project so that I can trade it to somebody else because they're going to see this as a lucrative item. Or I bought in bulk, I bought over, and it's not, a big bulk order, a bulk group buy as they call it, like I referenced earlier, but I've got 5 years worth of toilet paper. And then when you find somebody accepting trades on something, or you just don't want to pay cash, you think they might be open to a trade, even if they didn't mention it, say, hey, what if I give you a year worth of toilet paper? And somebody's like, hey, wait a minute, toilet paper, that's a buzzword. That's, I heard, we're back to some of the shelves being empty on that. Yeah, maybe I will. Well, in fact, if you find somebody who somehow isn't aware that hand sanitizer is like the most toxic asset in the entire US right now, because everybody and their grandma apparently has machines that can make it, which that's surprising. They all switched over. It's kind of like masks. Like, everyone's like, fighting over masks. Where do I get these masks? $50 a box. And now it's like, on sale, $7.99 clearance. 100 masks, $8. I just got a half gallon of hand sanitizer for 99 cents at one of my stores, and they had 6 pallets of it. Hell, CVS was selling it for 29 cents for like 12 ounces, and I just about cleared out the shelf. And I donated half of it to charity, by the way. The rest is in my basement. So if somebody's like, hey, I'm looking for $30 for this. I'm like, hey, what if I give you like a couple bags of rice all sealed up, 30-year shelf life, and I give you like 12 hand sanitizer? Like, oh, wait a minute. Isn't that retail like $50? Yeah, sure, I'll trade that. So it really just comes down to like value added your service and processing time, where you're adding the biggest value. It's an impression. It's I need this for my safety, and it's in the back of their head. We're like, yeah, maybe I should trade for that. Maybe that is more valuable than money right now. Maybe I won't be able to buy it. And of course, this mostly applies to times where there's shortages. And as long as you got the room in your house to hold stuff for a little bit, and then just kind of spring it on people that you think they might be interested in for a trade, you're going to get the most out of your money and your time and your effort and your inventory and just whatever. I'm not saying get a warehouse, get a storage unit, and start a resale business, because then you start looking at like expenses and taxes and all this other stuff, but like have some stuff around and just think, what might this person be interested in instead of money? If they're just like, no, I really just need money, I got to pay rent, yeah, sure, I'd love that trade's awesome, but I just literally need to pay my bills, that's why I'm selling this. Well, then just buy it. I mean, like, come on. If it's a good enough price, don't just be like, no, it's a good price, but it's not good enough. Like, if that's the lowest you're going to find it and you want it, just get it. Well, I suppose another thing is services, where if you know that like, you, your wife, yourself, your whatever knows how to groom dogs, you can dog sit for a week, you can detail cars, you can drive people to the airport because it's cheaper than Uber. Like I said, you can watch their kids for 2 days while they're on vacation or something, or a night out. Offer that in trade, and they're like, well, I would have dropped $40 on that anyway. I would have dropped $20 on an Uber. I would have dropped, $50 on a babysitter. So yeah, sure, I'll trade for that because that's basically cash. Like, I'm going to use it anyway. And yeah, the service industry and the lack of people working anywhere doing anything is huge. I mean, hell, you can just be like, oh yeah, I kind of, clean houses on the side when you just like know how to clean. And they're like, oh man, like we were thinking about getting that done, but like, even just like, oh, I own a carpet shampooer. It's like 50 years old and I got it secondhand at an auction because of bankruptcy. I love the callbacks in this video. Hopefully you guys appreciate it. But yeah, I could come shampoo all your carpets. And they're like, oh man, so-and-so, carpet tech company, whatever, Vacuum Pros, they were going to charge me $600. So we're kind of holding off on it. But you're telling me if I give you my mountain bike or my lawnmower or my leaf blower or my old car battery or my old laptop or whatever, or my old grill, you'll come shampoo all my carpets? Sure, hell yeah. Or, oh, you'll clean out my entire garage and like, get all the cobwebs out of there? Sure, God knows I'm not going to do it. It needs to be done, but also I'm not going to do it, but also I don't want to pay someone else to do it. So they're just kind of stuck. So if they're like, this is the opportunity right here, right right now I could trade for this service, well, then you do it. You know, if you just got the basic equipment or a little bit of know-how, or you're just like, yeah, I watched a YouTube video once and learned how to resurface, you know, headlights that are foggy. I got a dirt cheap kit, or I'm going to do it super ghetto with toothpaste. I'm not kidding. That's a thing. And they're like, yeah, I did want to get that fixed, but I got quoted $150. And you're like, hey, I'll just do it and trade for this. Done deal right there. And it's so low effort. It's just these people are not like, oh, I want to sit down and watch a YouTube video and then test it myself. And like, that's why you guys on YouTube learning things, just whatever you're learning, anything from headlight resurfacing to repair to small engine stuff to prepper stuff to how to light a fire to basic medical stuff to self-defense stuff, gun training, like whatever you're into. I probably just named everything you're into if you're like me. You are so far ahead of the people that are too lazy to do it. Like I don't know if they're just like, oh, school's so awful, I refuse to learn anything else in my entire life unless somebody's got like a gun pointed to my head, or they're paying me to get trained for work. It's like, yeah, I'd love to learn how to operate this or how to do that or how to shampoo carpets or how to fix this, but that seems like 30 minutes of work, and I hate work and I hate education, I hate learning. And you guys are here watching my channel learning all kinds of stuff, so it's like knowledge, learning how to do things, you can leverage that into trade, or you could just directly sell it and then just pocket the cash and spend that on prepper stuff. But between, you know, bulk buys and service stuff and bartering and like friends groups and value added, low effort but high impression stuff that is well received by people, you mix it all together, and then on the supply side, anything you need, you've got all the credit card offers, the store offers, the single time, you know, stuff, the sales, you know, I just know when to shop and I know how to be crafty, all the stuff from the first half of this video. You mix it all together and you get this little whole economy where all of a sudden, instead of just, oh man, I have to go out and drop $2,000 on prepper stuff because I need this, and this. Oh well, guess I'll go into debt, or my family's not going to eat this week because I need safety stuff. First of all, don't do that. And secondly, you can get that way down to 75% if you just do things right. Be very tactical, careful, kind of high effort without like obsessing over it. Use every tactic in this entire video, and all of a sudden getting all the prepper stuff you need is just insane. I mean, literally the last thing I bought was some super tough shoes, review pending, and with all the different, oh, I waited for a sale, I signed up and then left something in my cart, and then they sent me a promo, then I mixed it with like a comparison database from retailmenot.com. Then I got my friends who require steel toes for work, and I happened to notice that their shoes were falling apart. I got kind of a bulk buy, and then they had, well, if you buy 5 pairs or more, you get like free shipping and 20% off because bulk. Sold them off cash to my friend for like $150 for the other pairs I didn't need. I mean, I ended up from, instead of just, oh, I'm going to get 1 pair and they're like $90, I think at the end of the day, after everything I did, it was like $41. So I saved half with next to no effort, honestly. And then I think I made like 2% of my credit card cash back too. Oh, and I got a back in stock notification about their most popular product that's having some supply issues. Threw one of them on my order, made it at exactly that time specifically. That was almost luck. And then when I got it, immediately flipped it on eBay for double. Apparently people really like the running shoes, like to the point where they'll just buy from scalpers. So apparently now I'm a scalper. Look, nobody needs high-end shoes, okay? I'm not scalping water, food, and toilet paper. But that's just another example of like, in practice, I did these couple steps, these worked, these didn't, and that was the result. And that is a real world example that just happened. And I mean, once you get good with it, you got a fast enough computer, everybody's got fast internet, hell, you can do it on your phone. It's really like, oh, 1 to 5 minutes of additional effort. And if it's really expensive, like I said, if you're looking at like a $500 to $1,000 item, maybe put in like 30 minutes worth of effort, kind of checking every angle, everything. Because let's say you make 20 bucks an hour at your job. Well, then 30 minutes of your time is effectively worth $10. So if you take 30 minutes of your time and save more than $10 on the item, which you should if it's like a $500, $1,000 item, what you kind of just got paid to do work. Like it's pretty much the same thing. Getting paid money and not having to spend too much money is mathematically the exact same thing when you look at your bank account at the end of the day. I mean, more money into your account or less money out of your account is the same thing. I don't know how else to explain it, so hopefully that makes sense to you. So anyway, I gotta edit this video and then get ready for an auction pickup tomorrow because I won a lot of half-used, half-still sealed tarps, and I happen to know from that brand, they are $25 tarps. I paid $4.50 for them. I glanced at the auction for 10 minutes and I was like, oh, tarps. Oh, it's only 20 minutes away. I'm buying it. Actually got some bar stools out of it too. Oh, and if I recall, actually a vacuum. I'm going to flip that one too on Facebook Marketplace. Now imagine I just like walked into Lowe's and I'm like, oh yeah, I need a bunch of heavy duty tarps that'll last 5 years to put over my firewood thing, which is why I was looking at tarps. I would have dropped like $60. Now I basically got free tarps because I'm going to sell the rest on eBay, and I just made money. And also I know from experience that I can cram them in a flat rate box because tarps are really heavy, so I'm not going to like get completely destroyed on shipping. And in fact, I think before I put them on eBay, I'm still going to try to put them locally for half the difference on shipping. That's a little trick that us eBay people do. Like if it's a $20 item and shipping is $20, we'll list it for $30 on Facebook and see if it goes, because then we'll make $10 more. Not to mention the 13% eBay fees. So I think at this point you got the gist of it. I was going to mention a couple more things from my notes, but it's just little tiny dumb stuff where you might shave off a couple percent. A lot of more kind of long shot stuff where, you know, it's kind of tedious. But the one thing you can do right now, you're already on the internet, just go scan some you know, for some mispriced, mislabeled, miscategorized eBay stuff. That's the most fun if you don't mind just endlessly scrolling through thousands of listings for 10 minutes. I mean, some people will give them a headache. Me, I don't know, my eyes are used to it. I'm a gamer or whatever. But that is like the most fun because you will find stuff and you're like, oh my God, I'm literally saving like $100 on this. Boy, sucks for them. Too bad they didn't do more research and find out what they're actually selling. Oh well, personal responsibility. Can't stress that enough. But hey, check out the rest of the content on my channel. It's all pretty great. Just kidding, about 75% of it is great. The rest is mediocre at best, but oh well, I'm working to improve it. And we've got some killer videos coming out now because now there's snow on the ground, it's cold, it's time for some winter stuff. And apparently winter stuff is an insane topic because my #1 most viewed video is about emergency winter heating or like protecting your house in case of a power outage. So, I mean, obviously part 2 coming of that, but also I'm doing this crazy technique from like Russia or something, or like I don't remember who did it, but it's going to be like the wildest idea for house heating you've ever seen. So subscribe if you don't want to miss that, but otherwise, yeah, check out the rest of the cool content. We got, you know, the like $10, $20 challenge, like dollar store challenge, the $25 Big Lots challenge in case you have a liquidator near you, like Big Lots. Reviewed a fireproof bag that you can put, you know, paper money in and not have to worry about, you know, $5,000 going up in flames and your insurance company being like, what $5,000? I mean, you never know what you're going to get from this channel, so go check it all out and hopefully find something you like. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.